Hola, boa tarde. Hi, afternoon. Right, if I do decide to come to Portugal, what is it that I'm actually looking for? What type of property? What sort of area? So, first of all, I'll just tell you a little bit about sort of traditional Portuguese farmhouses and what they consist of. So, traditionally, the ground floor will be where the animals are kept. And also you'd have your adega, which is where winemaking area, and for storing everything that you normally need on a farm. And then the first floor would have an external staircase, stone, concrete, whatever, staircase going up to the first floor, which would be the living area, so kitchen, living room, all your bedrooms, bathroom. And then they also have a large roof space, which is usually just used for storage. But what a lot of houses that are being bought and being restored, renovated, people are creating three-story houses. So you would put, you could, some people put like a separate apartment, a separate little house in the ground floor, or things like a games room, a bar, a workshop, a garage, that sort of thing. But basically converting it into more living space. And likewise, the attic quite often will get converted into 2, 3, even 4 bedrooms. Or again, a separate accommodation, which can be for family staying or for Airbnb or to rent out. So that's the sort of potential. If you are building within the footstep, is that the word? I can't think. If you're building within the confines of the existing building, you can pretty much do what you want. What I'm looking to buy. So I will, if I do sell and buy in Portugal, I will be selling a tiny one-bedroomed house. It's a detached house, but it's one bedroom, sort of one up, one down. So it is actually a tiny house. And for the money I will get for that, I should be able to buy a farmhouse as I've described, with probably 3 bedrooms, and it will give me enough money to do what I want to do with that. So what my aim is, what my intention is to have somewhere where the whole family can come over together, which is something that as a sort of matriarch, which I suppose I am, not having that sort of hub, that centre of the family, is something that actually sort of hurts me. I sort of feel that it's my role to have that place where we all come together, and I don't anymore. When my girls were young and I was married and we were well off, we had blooming huge houses, and as I said, now I have a tiny house, and if I could do this in England, I would. And I've looked into it. I've looked into the possibilities of buying land and converting a barn or something, but you can't do it. The legislation is so strict. You just can't do that. I mean, there is strict legislation here. There are different categories of land. You can't build on rural land. You do have to have something called an urban article, which means that that means you can live there. You can get planning permission, but again, the size of the property you can build depends on the total size of the plot that you have. So anyway, and yeah, if I do decide to sell, I'll sort of share details of my little space, and you can see what I'm selling and what I'll be able to buy here for the same money. So yeah, what I'm looking for ideally in terms of the property is 3 bedrooms, and then the space either in the loft or downstairs, or possibly both, So 3 bedrooms for all the adults, and then enough space for, at the maximum at the moment, 8 children. So I've got this sort of idea of, creating like sleep pods or little sleep cabins or something, along with a sort of toilet and wash basin on the same floor, in the attic space. And then if I was able to do that, I could also probably create a self-contained sort of 1-bedroom property in the downstairs, so that actually, if all the family was staying, I could move down there so that we're not all literally in each other's faces all the time. Or potentially a sort of an outbuilding that could be, for occasional use. So I could set it up as a sort of like workspace for crafts and things, things that I would aim to do when it's pouring with rain for weeks on end, which it does in the winter. Is certainly in some parts of Portugal, if not all. And then, sort of like separate cabins. If anybody follows the Scotters, you'll know that they adapted the barn that they'd built into a temporary home while they are rebuilding their stone home. Because they were all living in a bus, the parents and 3 children, and the children are getting older. So they sort of basically built a pallet house. And they've created sort of separate bedrooms for each children, again with pallets, which are just, to create dividing walls. So it's really just big enough for a single bed and a little bit of storage, which certainly working for them while they're building or rebuilding, restoring their beautiful stone house. So, as sort of holiday accommodation, that'd be absolutely fine. And of course, if I've got a bit of land, which I also want, not a huge amount of land. I'm no good at sort of areas, so I can't tell you what an acre is or anything like that. I'd have to sort of physically see the land. But it would be lovely to have some chickens, and I don't really want bigger animals, goats, pigs, sheep, and it's too much hard work. But definitely olive trees. That's almost non-negotiable. Olive trees. I just love the idea of having olives and just having my own olive oil. For a single person, a year's supply of olive oil is not going to take a vast number of olive trees. Also, enough land to grow veggies. I don't expect I'd ever become self-sufficient, because it's pretty hard even here to be successful growing a lot of vegetables and fruit and whatever. But yes, so in terms of what I want, in terms of the property, that is it. That's pretty much it. So what about where I want to be? I don't want to be really remote, so having to drive to get to anything at all. So ideally what I would like is to be on the outskirts of a large village or a small town, close enough that I can walk in to a coffee shop and also walk to a supermarket that provides your day-to-day staples. It can be a sort of 15-20 minute walk, that's absolutely fine. And then only about sort of 15-minute drive maybe to the nearest town. I don't want to be any further away than that, I don't think. Views, absolutely got to have views, and that's easily done here. Just got interrupted there by the dog I'm looking after going a bit crazy, having a crazy few minutes. Views. It's so easy to find properties here where you look out the front of your house, you've got the sun rising over here, the sun setting over here. It's not a big ask. And that I definitely want. In a nutshell, that's what I'm looking for. That's sort of my dream. I've just got to decide with a few more trips hopefully to Portugal, a few more pet sits in different areas, find the place that's right for me, and then start actually looking at houses. I've spent the last couple of years, online, following a lot of people who video houses for sale, as well as following a lot of homesteaders. Oh, and I just want to say, I mentioned the Scotters. If you're interested in this sort of thing, do follow them. They are the loveliest people. They're an English family. They were sort of van lifers, I think, for quite a long time. They really are just lovely. It sort of warms the cockles of your heart to watch their videos each week. So I'm going to put the link to their channel below. Okay, and yeah, if this is your sort of thing, then you won't regret following them if you don't already. Okay, so this is I think number 2 video of my Portugal ones. I'm going to do one about visiting Amarante, and I'm actually meeting up with another homesteading YouTuber called Susie, and she's going to chat to me in a few days' time, just before I leave here, for a little episode for her channel. So I'll say in advance, thank you, Susie. It's going to be so lovely to meet you. So ciao, everybody, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Bye-bye.